welcome in. Good to see everyone coming in tonight. We're coming in hot. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, it feels like every day is at least, uh, I don't know, 2 weeks? Is every day 2 weeks long? That's what it feels like. Oh, my goodness gracious. But welcome in, everyone. We're gonna get started here. I just want to give a friendly reminder that I am absolutely not going to be heading back over to the TikTok for full time. I'm hoping to have everything set so I can be transferred completely over here to the tube very soon. Hopefully, April 1st, perhaps, is what I'm looking at. But I will absolutely. Hello, John. I will be here. This is going to be my new home, everybody. Hello, Hitch. Hello, Terry. Kimberly, Alice, welcome. Kaya, Boxer Mom, hello. Oh, I'm glad to see you too. Welcome in. Jennifer, Cynthia, hello. Hi, everyone. Um, Glad you're here on YouTube. Absolutely, yes, I really am. I'm so much really really happier over here, and for a lot of reasons. But I am still figuring that out. That's the one thing about the TikTok is that it's so easy to just kind of hop on and take care of business. But an April Fool's joke on us? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, but well, I don't know, maybe, maybe, but I don't know. But yeah, I will be here. I'm hoping to eventually, again, have my kind of forever home over here, turning this really into what I'm wanting to do. So I've got plans, everybody. I've got plans. I am still hopping over to the talk to do a couple of lives, but I think I'll probably whittle that down just to one live a week, and then over here for my multiple times. Interlopers tonight to throw off your. Oh my gosh, John. Let me tell you. Okay, for anyone who was not hanging out the other night, I had this fella. Here's the story. I had this fella from another country where it looks cold. And he was trying to break into my live, and I just don't know what happened, but he had come on, and then I was like, I can't even see the screen to do what I need to do to get him off. But then later he was like a full friend with and like had messages and stuff, and so I was like, I'm afraid that I got it taken care of. I tried to keep my cool. I did re-listen to that part of the live, and so I was just making sure I hadn't scared everybody. I think it was okay, but one thing that happens when I'm trying to read and look through and do something is that I get really close to the microphone because I can't see. so so I get louder and louder the closer I get to the microphone. So towards the end of it, I had to like have the volume off. And I was like, I'm so loud. Oh, but I apologize. It was over on the talk. It was over on the talk. So the story of I know. I just that was so crazy, frustrating and entertaining. Yeah, and well, I was trying all the different things, and finally I'm like, nah, fine, goodbye. I gotta go. And then there was a woman that was trying to come in. It looked like they were in the same place. The background looked the same, but live and learn, live and learn. He just, oh my goodness. Yeah, he would not give up. He kept sending stuff. And then later on in the evening, I wasn't even live and he was sending stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, go away. Oh my goodness gracious. So, yeah, there's a little bit of excitement there. She all came out. I know. Oh my gosh. I tell you what, though, everybody, the over on the talk. Oh, it's so frustrating sometimes. I had my Hulk got community guidelines violated. The Hulk. Oh my gosh, the Hulk one that I put up today on frustration with vaccines and immunizations, and they they dinged me on it, And I was looking through and I'm like, this, how, what? So it's so frustrating over there sometimes. No solicitation. That's so funny. And genius. Yes, I do need to do that. I do. Yeah, it's touchy on the talk. Yeah, yeah. And he wanted to battle. Yeah, that's the thing though. I don't understand how I handled it well. Thanks, Kay. I appreciate that. I missed it. Well, I do have that live. It's going to be in two parts, part one and part two, that I'm getting ready to upload here on the tube. I had a few uploading issues, or it would have already been done, but hoping to do that after the live tonight. But facts are, yeah. They're not really big, I don't know. It's definitely better over here, everyone. It's, something's happening to the talk. it's been, it's been infiltrated. So, but I'm just so much happier over here. Honestly, it's easier to make my posts over on the talk, but all I do then is just save them and post them straight up to YouTube. So if you're wondering if I am posting still here, I am. I am. As long as it's good. If it's not a particularly good post, then I won't. But I just want to make sure that I don't want anyone over here to miss anything because you're over here now. So I want to make sure everyone's up to date. Yeah, there's some problems. Bye, Patrick. Toodly doos. Toodly doos. So welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Oh my gosh, Elon Musk, everyone. Let's talk for a minute about the protests. There were a lot of protests all over the US at the Capitol and in DC, lots and lots of places, lots of different protests going on and chanting about we don't not wanting a king. And I thought that was great. So everyone that went out and was protesting today, hope you dressed warm, and thank you for the hard work that you're putting in. My tip to any protesters is to always make sure you stay hydrated, so take some water with you. And also just to recognize that protesting is absolutely an amazing right that we have over in this country. But when it comes to time, place, and manner and public safety, there can be some questions. So don't go blocking the highways and interstates if you don't mind, or any kind of safety vehicle stops. Those tend to be what can trigger law enforcement to pull you. So you got to kind of, tiptoe, dance around the rules there, and you'll be all right. Do you think they got the message that I think so, Jennifer. But the thing is, we got to keep it going. We got to keep it going. Oh my gosh, the Carmex, of course, VC. Keep it going. Absolutely. You got to take your breaks, and then keep on target here. So go away, Kevin. Oh no, Kevin. Oh, Kevin's gone. So with that in mind, I thought we've got Judge Chutkin in DC who has been assigned this case. So this is the Elon Musk lawsuit. Now there's several lawsuits going involving the Doge and a lot of those kinds of things. And right, but this one's the big one because we've got all of these states actually going and saying, Musk, you're out of line. And what else is really great here is that it's all encompassing. So we've got, bits and pieces of what Musk is doing throughout multiple lawsuits, but this one's the big one. It's the big one. So, I thought let's take a look at it. Let's take a look. So here's the case number set up here for anyone who's interested. This is available on a court listener, so you can pull it up and take a look at it and watch this case. In my opinion, again, and I am reviewing all of the cases that are being filed, and there's quite a bit. This one is absolutely, in my opinion, the big one when it comes to Elon Musk and what's going to happen in that situation. So keep your eyes on this one, everyone. The other ones are great too, but this one's going to be really important. So we have a filing that puts a complaint into place. Let me just kind of give you a little bit of background here, and then we'll go through this temporary restraining order request. There was a hearing today in DC in front of Judge Chutkin, and my understanding is she has said she will have an order out for us within the next 24 hours. So anytime is my understanding so far. He's lost his mind. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on. Hope he gets deported. So my understanding about his immigration status is that he was an undocumented immigrant when he was first here in the United States, but now he is a properly documented immigrant. That's just what the rumor on the street is. I don't really do immigration law, but that's what I heard. Oh, by the way, everyone, the other night when I was chit chatting on the live over on the TikTok, we were talking about this red card, and I wasn't understanding what people were saying. And then here it is. I found it. If you are interested, if you're wondering what your rights are when it comes to just basic rights, and here's the deal, this has been put out with this idea of ICE, because I would say Chicago is incredibly inspirational with how they have been explaining what your rights are to people. And so if ICE is coming up to you and knock knock, what's going on, you know what your rights are, and that's wonderful. But these pieces here that they have been put out for people to print out and just kind of carry around in your wallet if you want. These are just basic rights that everyone should know. Uh, and I think that's wonderful. So I wanted to just walk you through real quick here. Make sure you go online. AOC has an amazing piece that she has been doing and is very easily accessible. But here's what the card says: I do not wish to speak with you, answer your questions, or sign or hand you any documents based on my Fifth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution. That is the right to be free from self incrimination. And, again, this is not legal advice. I'm just kind of going through here what constitutional rights are available. This is what you should be saying anytime you get pulled over by a cop, in my opinion. This is what I say if I feel like if I get pulled over and the trooper's, up in my face. I'm just going to say this, like, I don't really want to talk to you or answer your questions or sign and hand you any documentations based on my Fifth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution. Now, don't get me wrong, when they ask for your license and registration, if you are getting pulled over in a car, that's absolutely acceptable. So that's the only piece here. But if you're just in your own world, walking around on your feet, and they're like, show me your documentation. This is a great piece to have here. I do not give you permission to enter my home based on my Fourth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution unless you have a warrant to enter signed by a judge or a magistrate with my name on it that you slide under the door. Brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And I've been trying to teach my students this for the 15 years I've been teaching, which is you don't have to consent. We have a requirement in the Constitution that you can't be subject to unreasonable searches and seizures. So they need to have a warrant. There are warrant exceptions, such as the warrant exception when it comes to your vehicle. We call that the Carroll Doctrine. And there are exigent circumstances, there are some probable cause, those kinds of things. But yeah, if you're in your house, like this is so important with the cultists. It's a busy night. But this is so important. You're in your home, and I just saw the border fella. I don't know who he is, coming in and saying, well, AOC is telling people not to have ICE do their jobs. Like, no, that's not true. Actually, that's not true at all. Law enforcement has to follow the rules, and one of the rules is that you need a warrant. And, just because you're law enforcement doesn't mean you just get to do whatever you want. The biggest problem that happens is that people don't know their rights, and unfortunately can lead to, well, sure, yeah, come on in, take a look because you feel intimidated. But that's not your rule. That's not in the Constitution. And so I'm very happy. Like a lot of things right now are very frustrating, but I am happy that this is being shown to the light of day so people understand this. If there's a cop knocking on my door, I don't care who it is. I'm not going to answer the door. That's in my own home. I'm not going to do that. Now, would my husband? Yes. So I'd have to tackle him. So he doesn't answer. But I'm not going to answer the door. I don't have to. I don't have a legal obligation to answer the door if a cop is standing there. All right. I just don't have to do that. So that's where I'm at. Again, I'm not giving you legal advice. This is just basic legal rights that people need to know. Also, I do not give you permission to search any of my belongings based on my Fourth Amendment rights. Absolutely. Don't consent is the number one exception to the warrants clause. And if you say, sure, fine, you can search me because you think you've hidden your bologna sandwiches well enough, they're going to find whatever it is. So if there's something illegal on you, they're going to find it. First of all, don't have illegal stuff on you. Second of all, don't think that you've somehow outsmarted the law enforcement because they've been doing this is like their job, right? This is their job. So they're going to find it. And then next, I choose to exercise my constitutional rights. So this again was online. This is, I think they're calling it like the red card. This was online. I think I got it through AOC actually. And I know that's an actual case, Kat. I'm not even lying to you about that. There was an actual case. Let me pause for a minute. Story time, everybody. I had an actual case where there was a fella driving from one state to another state, and he had a whole bunch of marijuana on him, like a whole bunch. And he had it in a cooler in his trunk. And so he had this enormous quantity that was not for personal use. And he had covered it up with like peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter jelly, and bologna sandwiches and put it on top. And so when the cops were like, well, we want to take a look at your trunk, he's like, sure, go for it. And they're like, well, what's in the cooler? And he's like, oh, bologna sandwiches. They open up the cooler and they're like, dude, seriously? He got charged. He got charged big time. So, yeah, it's their job, and we want them to do that. We want police to be properly trained and to be able to find um, things that are illegal people should not have. That's their job, and we respect that job. On the other hand, though, they need to follow the rules, and that's what we're saying here. Like, sure, you can search, but you need probable cause. You need a warrant. The Fourth Amendment doesn't say that they can't do searches and seizures. It says they can't do unreasonable searches and seizures, and that's the key. So you be reasonable, you do your job properly, you're going to be good to go. Meanwhile, though, this is multiple pieces. And what they're saying here is that you can fold it and put it in, your wallet and just take it out and read it if you're in the moment. So this one is specific for, I just picked the Spanish one. There's all different languages available. I just printed out the Spanish one. I don't think there's a French one actually, but tons of different languages. And just to remind you, and again, this is in any situation. Again, I think this is good to say if you've been pulled over, but keep in mind there are some special rules for automobiles. But you don't have to incriminate yourself. The number one thing, police officers, do you know how fast you're going? Like, why would you answer that? Don't answer that, people. That's not legal advice. But I don't answer it. Let's put it that format. Oh my gosh. Just said the trolls don't understand any of what I don't think I don't think they're really listening. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't think so. So, Uh, right. When I have in the red card, but not on the device. Yes. Exactly. So this again is absolutely correct. If you're wondering, well, is it even proper? Yes, this is proper. This is proper information that is being put out there. You can be, and I believe AOC again, where I got this from, was saying. You know, if you're in your own home, right? So, and that's the thing is if you're in your own home, your rights are huge compared to if you're in a place like a vehicle or in a workplace or out in public. So, if you get a chance, if you're interested, this is one that, again, I got through AOC. You can type in red card into your search, and this will be pulled up. Or you can type in constitutional rights and then ICE, and something will come up. There's a lot of different, versions of this. But this was fantastic. I was on a live again the other night. We were talking about it, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is right here. This is what needs to happen, and people need to understand that. Again, it's not just applicable for ICE. It's applicable for any situation, right? So if the cop comes to your door, they're probably, for me, probably isn't any problem. But I don't care. I'm not talking to the cop. I got to be in the right mood. You know what I'm saying? If I'm at a 4th of July parade, sure, let's chat. If I'm in my own home and a cop's knocking on the door, it's probably not got something good to say to me. So I'm like, don't answer the door. All right. So that was a side note, everyone. Side note. All right, back in it, back into the original topic here with the Elon Musk. Here, thank you for working so hard to my moderators out there. Yeah, there's, people are grumpy. Here we are. So this is our first, the first. Oh my goodness. Oh, there are some grumpies out there. Yeah, there's a lot of grumpies, but whatever. We'll keep moving on. This, again, is the case to watch for, everyone. Let me just give you a quick intro paragraph I'll read to you, and then we'll hop over to the motion for a restraining order, which is really what's on the table right now. So we've got a lot of restraining orders, and I'll go through that litigation piece as well here in a minute. So we have the state of New Mexico, Arizona, Michigan, California, Connecticut, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, right? I said that right. Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington. That's a lot of states. So these attorney generals, these AGs, are coming in and saying, "Dude, you're going too far. You're outside of what's allowable here by the law." So they are versus Elon Musk. Here, U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization, and Donald J. Trump as the President of the United States. So as we go through this again, I'll just go through the intro paragraph to give everybody an idea of what their suit's about. It's okay to bring in consultants. It's okay to bring in civilians. You just have to do it in the right way. That's really what's going on here, is that we don't have the proper protocols being followed. And if you followed those protocols, you'd be all right. But they didn't. They're just jumping in and firing people and not really understanding what they're doing. So, I mean, they're just going too fast. If they would have just sat down, figured out what actually they wanted to do, and then go through proper protocols, they would have been fine. And it's really getting to be very frustrating for a lot of people. So let's take a look here. Let's just take a look at our intro. Here's our intro: complaint for declaratory and injunctive relief, which you'll see multiple times over and over again. And that injunctive relief is saying, hey, you need to pause, bad behavior. So number one, there's no greater threat to democracy than the accumulation of state power in the hands of a single unelected individual. Although our constitutional system was designed to prevent the abuses of an 18th century monarch, the instruments of unchecked power are no less dangerous in the hands of a 21st century tech baron. In recent weeks, defendant Elon Musk, with President Donald J. Trump's approval, has roamed through the federal government, unraveling agencies, accessing sensitive data, and causing mass chaos and confusion for state and local governments, federal employees, and the American people. That's accurate. Again, this is filed by the states here. Number two, oblivious to the threat this poses to the nation, Trump has delegated virtually unchecked authority to Mr. Musk without proper legal authorization from Congress and without meaningful supervision of his activities, which again, I remind you, this was the argument that Trump's team used against Jack Smith in Florida. They said he wasn't approved through the Senate and he's not elected and blah, 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 blah. And Cannon was like, yeah, this got to go through Congress. Meanwhile, Mr. Musk has not been going through Congress. As a result, he has transformed a minor position that was formerly responsible for managing government websites into a designated agent of chaos without limitation and in violation of separation of powers, which is one of the biggest problems that the US Supreme Court has. Number three, the founders of this country fought for independence from the British monarchy due in no small part to the king's despotic power to create an unlimited number of governmental offices and to fill those offices with the king's supporters. In fact, this practice so severely undermined the founders' freedoms that it's a listed grievance in the Declaration of Independence. And as a quick update, I still have our new Declaration of Independence. I'm struggling a little bit with getting it posted because I'm not sure if it's going to get a community guidelines violation. So, anyway, I digress. Number four, informed by that history, the framers of the Constitution crafted the Appointments Clause to protect against such tyranny in our system of government. The Appointments Clause, and let me get my sticky note out here, everyone. Yeah, they have to type out a whole paragraph. Yes, we do love that. All right, so let me just put here, this is the, we'll just put the states sue Musk. How's that? DC. We'll just keep it easy. We'll keep it easy, everyone. Couple of to 2 seconds. We love that. Hopefully you've had a Red Bull, John, so you're up and running. We've got amazing mods hanging out with us, everyone. Here we go. So it was designed to buttress the separation of powers in two ways. First, by requiring that Congress create an office before the president can fill it, right? Second, by requiring that the Senate confirm a nominee to an office created by law. And those are just basic pieces here. These limitations on the president's power make executive appointments accountable to Congress and make the Senate's confirmation decisions accountable to the people, citing law. In this way, the Appointments Clause serves as a vital role in curbing executive abuses of power. And this is a huge thing right now. And you're going to hear this from representatives and senators. Like, dude, there's a process. Are they going to confirm him? Probably, but just set that time up so that we don't have issues like this. Number five, Mr. Musk's seemingly limitless and unchecked power to strip the government of its workforce and eliminate entire departments with a stroke of a pen or a click of a mouse would have been shocking to those who won this country's independence. For a lot of reasons, there's no office of the United States other than the president, with the full power of the executive branch and the sweeping authority now vested in a single unelected and unconfirmed individual is antithetical to the nation's entire constitutional structure, right? Number six, Mr. Musk does not occupy an office of the United States, has not had his nomination for an office confirmed by the Senate. His officer level actions are thus unconstitutional. This court should restore constitutional order and, consistent with the Appointments Clause, enjoin Mr. Musk from issuing orders to any person in the executive branch outside of DOGE and otherwise engaging in actions of an officer of the United States, and declare that his actions are to date all are ultra V and have and of no legal effect. So again, not proper here is what they're saying. One thing too to kind of keep your eye on is this term officer. That was a big piece that Trump was saying. He wasn't an officer. The president's not an officer. Well, it doesn't matter, that argument, because Musk and what he's doing is officer-like under the Constitution, so we don't have a problem. Let me fast forward. So this, again, they're setting out some pretty significant problems here. But let's look and see. I'm going to fast forward because I want to see, and they go through all the things that he's doing. Yikes! But what they're asking for. So that's the big thing here. What are they asking the judge for? We've got different pieces of information that they're sharing, but let's look and see. Because that's what Judge Chutkan's going to look at. She's going to say to them, like, what is it that you want me to do? What is it? Let's spell it out. Where's the harm? And what is it that you are asking the court? So, causes of action starts on page 56 of the complaint here. So officer under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2, that's taken care of. Mr. Musk asserts a significant and unprecedented authority in the executive branch, including making decisions about spending, personnel, contracts, government property regulations, and agency existence. And he occupies a continuing position as a part of the federal government. So what they're saying here for count one is that we've got a violation of the Appointments Clause of the United States Constitution against all defendants. So if you've got a constitutional violation and you're suing for that, where are you going to go? You're going to go to DC. That's why Judge Chutkan has this case again, because that's the appropriate place to file it, because that's, the jurisdiction where the Constitution is, right? Mr. Musk and all of these offices that he's messing around with takes actions that can only be taken by a nominated and confirmed principal officer of the United States. But President Trump did not appoint Mr. Musk with the advice and consent of the Senate. Mr. Musk does not occupy an office created by law, has no authority to exercise the powers of a principal officer or any other officer. Mr. Musk's actions violate Article 2, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. Mr. Musk's actions, personally and through his oversight of Doge and Doge personnel, have harmed plaintiff states. So again, all of those states are saying, look, we've been hurt because of this violation of the Constitution. To remedy the Appointments Clause violation, the improperly appointed officer's challenged actions should be rendered invalid. So they're saying anything that he's done and changed needs to be seen as invalid, so no longer appropriate. Those decisions need to be reversed. So here's count one. Now we've got count two here. Again, I'm just going through what the counts are, and then we'll head over to their request for the injunction. On February 11th of 2025, U.S. District Court Judge Paul A. Engelmayer issued an order amending a preliminary injunction entered on February 8th of 2025, restraining defendant President Trump, the Department of Treasury, and the Department and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent from A, granting access to personally identifiable and or confidential financial information of payees to individuals other than career employees with a need for access to perform their job duties within the BFS, who have passed all background checks and security clearances and taken all information security training called for in the federal statutes and Treasury Department's regulations. Again, there's rules. You have to be educated and taught what these rules are. B, granting access to all political appointees, special government employees, and government employees detailed from an agency outside the Treasury Department to any Treasury Department payment record, payment systems, or any other data systems maintained by the Treasury Department containing personally identifiable information and or confidential financial information. Here. So again, that's just another piece that's been set out. So next we've got conduct in excess of statutory authority against the defendants, Mr. Musk, the U.S. Doge System, and U.S. Doge Temporary Service Organization. They're saying here for count two, Doge has purported to exercise authority of its own and not merely to have acted as an advisor of the president to the president. So this advisor to the president is kind of like that carte blanche that they're using to get away with everything that they're doing, from firing people to kicking people out of buildings to taking names off of buildings. They're saying, well, we're advisors to the president and he said it was okay. Right. So, administrative agencies are creatures of statute. They accordingly possess only the authority that Congress has provided, which is another big piece of why Congress is, well, some Congress is getting frustrated because they created these agencies and created what their job descriptions were and are. Congress has not provided any authority to Doge. The Constitution does not provide any authority to Doge, and they could. They could. All they have to do is go in and set it up. They could do that. They just have not done it. The Temporary Organization Statute, 5 U.S. Code, Section 3161, does not provide Doge with the authority it has purported to exercise here. It's still illegal, sure, but that's something that has to be fought through the proper channels, right? And the one thing is, if you propose legislation or you propose putting him in certain positions, the people who are going to tell you that that's not legal are going to come in and make their arguments, right? So you're going to have a big record of that as well. And so the public will get to hear, what's going on. The statute provides that a temporary organization is defined as an organization established by law or executive order for a specific period not in excess of 3 years for the purpose of performing a specific study or other project. So again, they're defining what the law is here. There's no plausible definition of project that would include Doge's attempt to remake the entire executive branch as described above, or to destroy agencies, fire personnel, halt funding, or dispose of government property. So, and again, everybody, to see both sides of this, and which I disagree with one of the sides, but if they want to restructure the executive branch, they can. I mean, that's part of the powers in the executive branch, but you have to follow the procedures. And again, I mean, we're like, oh my gosh, look at all this crap they're doing, and I agree. I think it's complete rubbish. But if that's their prerogative, they can do that. I mean, it's not that they can't do it, it's they have to do it the right way. And so that's one of the issues. And the right way takes a long time, everyone. It takes time. And I think that's one of the reasons why they just are running full blast, not following the protocols. But what's happening then is they're going to keep getting sued over and over and over again, because the amount of time that it takes to properly go through channels to start doing what they're doing here would run the clock out, and we would probably be in midterm election territory, and they don't want that to happen, right? Yeah, there is an organization that does audits. Yeah, I mean, we have all this stuff already in place. uh, exactly what we voted for. Well, Jackie, and your ilk, I remind you too, half the country voted for slavery. It doesn't mean it's okay, right? So, we got to kind of understand that just because you voted for it doesn't mean that it's appropriate. So next up, the conclusion supported by major questions doctrine. Now, this again is another legal doctrine where we've got some significant issues uh, under which courts expect Congress to speak clearly when authorizing an agency to exercise powers of vast economic and political significance here. So, moving on, then, again, I'm just taking you through uh, what they're requesting. We've got two counts. When the executive branch purports to exercise such powers, the question is whether the statute or the Constitution plainly authorizes the action. And again, if it does, it does. The Temporary Organization Statute, 5 U.S.C. 3161, does not plainly authorize Doge to remake the entire executive branch as described above, or to destroy agencies. And that's a really big piece here, too. There's a protocol for winding down agencies, winding them down and building them up again. There's protocol. Fire personnel, halt funding, and dispose of government property. Accordingly, Doge's conduct to that effect has been ultra vires, so outside of what's allowable, and Doge must be enjoined from any further such conduct. So there you go. So those are the two counts. They're asking for injunctive relief. So, and if you're wondering what that injunctive relief would look like, let's just give you some examples here. Ordering any changes in the disbursement of public fund by agencies. They need to be stopped doing this. Extending offers on behalf of the United States that would bind the government to an appropriation that's not been authorized by law. That's fundamental to the first article of the Constitution. Canceling government contracts, disposing of government property, ordering the rescission or amendment of regulations, making personnel decisions for agency employees, taking steps to dismantle agencies created by law or otherwise asserting control over such agencies, including placing employees on administrative leave. So we've got quite a few things here that they're saying, wow, this is really overreach. So H, accessing sensitive and confidential agency data, using agency data for other than its authorized purpose, altering agency data systems without authorization by law and without taking all appropriate protections against cybersecurity risks, or J, engaging in other conduct that violates the appointments clause or exceeds statutory authority, and issue preliminary and permanent injunctions granting the same relief as set forth in the preceding paragraph of this complaint. So we've got that piece in there as well. All right, so that's the original complaint. What's going on in the chat? Oh my gosh. Are we okay here? Are we okay? Oh my goodness gracious. Are we all right here? Oh, the trolls. Have the trolls taken over. All right. Go on, trolls. There's plenty of other places to go. You can go to plenty of other places where they're not going to shake a can of pennies at you because you're, bad people. So off you go. Toodly doos. To find all right. Oh my goodness. Formerly known as the Twitter, but don't have your name to tag. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're blocking all over. Love it. Oh, there you go, John. There you go. You got to warm up, though, before. We got to warm up before you start going. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with Elon. I'm just saying he's not elected. And you can't just pick somebody off the street and be like, hey, come mess with our government, right? I mean, there's protocol, right? When would the military have to step in and protect its oath to the Constitution? That's a great question. And that's a great question. The moment itself where I think the military is going to have that question of ethics with the Constitution will be when they receive their first unconstitutional order. So they're not going to voluntarily come in and say, all right, we're taking control of the situation. No, they're going to get an order and they're going to see this order as unconstitutional. And at that time, they're going to make that assessment. So again, we have to have everything done proper here. I can't see how our military would just, like the Supreme Court, if you put a case in front of them for them to decide, then they'll make their decision. But they can't just go, like, hey, Wisconsin, what are you doing? Let's just rule on a case, right? Gotta have that. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, auditors too. Yeah, I think somebody else said something about big balls. Can we have a moment? Let's have a moment to talk about that. Who was saying big balls? Who was it? Wasn't it? It was Musk's team, right? Which again, like gross. Like that's terrible. Okay, you blocked him. All right, well, fair enough. Because okay, it was Elon. So I mean, does anyone play pool? I thought those were just pool terms. I thought, as soon as I heard it, I was like, all right, so are we playing pool here? Like, what are you, 18 years old? Right, it's one of the kids. Oh, it's what, right. I mean, you all know about that, right? You got big balls or little balls, and that has to do with whether your stripes are solids, right? Did nobody else ever do that? Because I was like, are we solids? Or are we stripes? Every time I hear that. Oh my gosh. Known as the I mean, for For okay, 19. All right, all right. So, I mean, oh my goodness gracious. 20-year-old's hacker handle. Oh my gosh. Oh, oh my goodness gracious. Solids and stripes. Seriously, VC? Come on, am I the only one? I'm gonna need to ask my significant other about that. He may have been fooling me all these years. He may have just been trying to get me to say that at the pub. I'm gonna have to ask some questions now. Oh my goodness. Only solid stripes, really? Oh my gosh, everybody. I may have been duped. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm correct about billiards. Thanks, Richard. Richard, back me up. Back me up, man. Yeah, I mean, it was like if you're stripes, you were one, and right. And then if you were solids, you were the other, right? I mean, I'm not just making it up. Right. Okay, okay. Shoo, thank goodness. Okay, everyone. Come on now. Come on, back me up here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, all right. It's small and big. Okay, okay. Shoot. Wow. I need a moment. I was about to see like my life flashing before my eyes. I really did. I thought, okay, okay, I'm right, all right. Oh, okay. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Okay. Oh my goodness gracious. We're gonna have to have a talk later. So that's what I thought they were talking about. I'm like, why are they talking about pool right now? Oh my goodness. All right. Sometimes I live in my own little world where it's happy. It's a happy, innocent place where I live. All right. Next up. Oh my goodness. So that's the complaint. That was filed on the 13th. On the 14th, the very next day, we had the oh my gosh. We had a request for emergency temporary restraining order under the Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 65B. So these AGs were these AGs were saying, "Hey, we need some help." And one of the biggest things that's going on right now with these executive orders is that there's restraining orders being put out, or still making you say something we all would have. Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh, everybody, my face is so red right now. Oh my goodness gracious! Oh my gosh! All right, all right, all right. So they're they're saying like, look, we need an injunction, we need a restraining order, which is what's being used on executive orders right now, and pretty much being approved or being set for approval. There have been a couple of cases where it has not gone through, and because of standing issues, and that's fine. That will be another post that we'll put together later, but. Let's look at this. I'm going to read through the intro here, and then I'm going to take you through why they and what it is that they want to do. Because one of the biggest issues that we have that's going on with this request that they're putting in for this restraining order is this too broad. It's just too broad. Now, if you'll remember, Judge Chutkin was the one that put together a very carefully worded restraining order on extrajudicial statements being made by Trump during his trials. And the orders she put together and the orders that were done were so good that they were seen as constitutional. So we definitely, she's pretty used to putting these kinds of orders together and making sure the Constitution's all right. But she here, rumor has it, she's saying it's just too broad. So let's look. Plaintiff's motion. So I'll just put this up. I certainly do not embarrass easily, but once it happens, I can't get unembarrassed. How's that? Oh my gosh. All right. So states a lawsuit here. A lawsuit against Musk here. And then restraining order. So restraining order, which is what was going on today. Yeah, you got to be pretty specific when you're coming in and asking about that. People are ridiculous. They certainly are. They most certainly are ridiculous. Right. All right, here we go. Plaintiff states motion for temporary restraining order. This was on the 14th. Again, we had a hearing today on it. We should be hearing from Judge Chuckett within 24 hours because the hearing was just today, so we should have an answer. But here we go. Comes now the plaintiffs, New Mexico, Arizona, just to remind everybody, Michigan, California, Connecticut, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. And respectfully move this honorable court for a temporary restraining order against defendants, as set forth more fully in plaintiff state's motion or memorandum and points and authorities in support of a motion for a temporary restraining order. Defendant Elon Musk, an unelected, unconfirmed government official, is exercising unprecedented executive authority in violation of the Appointments Clause of the Constitution. Again, this one is the restraining order request. Mr. Musk has inserted himself into the highest levels of over a dozen federal agencies and begun directing the agencies' actions in ways that exceed even the authority of those agency Senate-confirmed leaders. Like, again, that's a problem. Evidence suggests that he has and continues to cut billions of dollars from agency budgets, fired agency personnel, and in his words, quote, deleted entire agencies. He has canceled government contracts, announced plans to sell government property, and promised to withdraw a multitude of regulations across different agencies. He has installed his own teams in agencies and given them access to the agency's most sensitive data. So, right. What do you get? I don't think we're afraid of anything. I think it's just very simple. You know, we have laws, and laws need to be followed. Like, everybody should follow the laws, right? Like one person doesn't get to say, you know, this person doesn't have to follow the laws, right? No, everybody's got to follow the law. All right. He has installed his own teams and agencies and given them access to agencies' most sensitive data. In other words, an individual accountable only to the president if the answers to anyone at all is exercising apparently limitless power within the executive branch. Mr. Musk's conduct has wreaked havoc on the federal government and caused mass chaos and confusion for state and local governments, federal employees, the American public, and people around the world who depend on the United States for leadership and support. Not anymore. No, not so much anymore. Right. Like, yeah, one person doesn't get to just, oh, thank you so much, Chris. One person doesn't get to just not follow the laws. Uh, is he immune? What? I think there's two M's in there. Has immunity from certain situations. But, you know, you should read that case in the decision here. SCOTUS telling a narcissist he's immune. Yeah, and, you know, one more thing, too, with that, John, with that whole idea with immunity is, you know, people don't understand what that actually means, what it means, because there are immunities that have been set out for all presidents, and you know, this was just an extension of that immunity. But to just say, well, he's immune from everything, that's not true. In fact, Chief Justice John Roberts said that's not true. He specifically said the president of the United States does not have absolute immunity. He said that. Those are his words. So for those saying, well, he can be immune from anything, is just showing that you are listening to the rhetoric and not reading the decision. All of this is unconstitutional. That's something you don't really want to have to say. You're filing something. Yikes. This court should enter a temporary restraining order to prevent further damage to the plaintiff states. A temporary restraining order is warranted where the moving party establishes 1, it's likely to succeed on the merits, 2, irreparable harm is likely in the absence of preliminary relief, which I think is really probably one of their top arguments here. The balance of equity tips in the movement's favor, and 4, an injunction is in the public interest, which I think is the other piece here that would be their best arguments. As set forth In the plaintiff states memorandums of points and authorities in support of the motion for a temporary restraining order, plaintiff states have established each of these elements and are entitled to a temporary restraining order. Accordingly, plaintiff states respectfully request the court grant this motion for a temporary restraining order and order the following immediate and temporary relief to remain in place until such time as forthcoming motion for preliminary injunction may be heard. So here's what they're requesting. And again, Judge Chutkin is like, dude, we can do something here, but it can't be so broad. An order that Mr. Musk, U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization, along with personnel associated with these entities, identify all ways in which any data obtained through unlawful agency access was used. That's too broad. That's, again, way too broad. Could it be granted? Perhaps, but legally that seems too broad here, including whether it was used to train any algorithmic models or create and obtain derivative data. Derivative data. This one I think is okay. And destroy any copies or any derivative data in defendant's possession, custody, or control, and that they are temporarily enjoined. And I think this part too would be okay, but I think we need to narrow this down a little bit in order to go forward with that. I think she's going to want that to be narrowed. Even if this goes through, how are we guaranteed that he didn't find a way to attach himself to all of this information and to the system outside of where our system? We don't know. We're not going to know how much damage has been done until we see it later, with however he's wanting to implement it. Here's A. So they're trying to say also stop doing this. So this is what they're asking the judge. Ordering any change in the disbursement of public funds by agencies. All right, so that's the first one. Extending offers on behalf of the United States that would bind the government to an appropriation that's not been authorized by law. That's important. I would say that would be okay. Any change in the disbursement of public funds by agencies. This one, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what level of authority everybody has here, so I don't know if that's going to be one. Canceling government contracts. Again, I'm not sure who has the authority to cancel government contracts, because if it's within the agency, he may be allowed to do that. Disposing of government property. Again, I don't know. Ordering the rescission or amendment of regulations. This is Congress, so that is not appropriate here. Making personnel decisions for agency employees. Again, I'm not sure about that. Taking steps to dismantle agencies created by law or otherwise asserting control over such agencies, including placing employees on administrative leave. I would say this is a mixed bag one. I think this one is congressional power, so that's definitely an issue. But then they added this second piece, this other administrative piece, and that I don't know about. So we may have a half and half situation. This is just my thoughts, everyone, on what they're requesting from the judge, okay? Accessing sensitive and confidential agency data, using agency data for other than its authorized purpose. Again, this is the Privacy Act information. So yeah, shouldn't be doing that. Altering agency data systems without authorization by law. Again, that's congressional, without taking all appropriate protections against cybersecurity risk. Again, we have to look and see, this is a piece power from Congress. Next, engaging in any other conduct that violates the appointments clause or exceeds statutory authority. This is way too broad to put into a restraining order, in my opinion. And such other and further relief as the court finds just and proper, which is included in every request here. I don't mind fraud being looked for, but I like it to be looked for by people who are qualified to look for fraud without, kind of having this, love of schmazzies. Could we not have the schmazzies be the one? That'd be great. So respectfully submitted here, we've got attorney generals again for New Mexico. in all of the other states here. So let's take a flip. We're flipping through here again. I'd like more proof than a screenshot. Navy vet, that's perfectly put. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, here we go. That was the request. So I think we've got some problems. We've got some duties and issues here. Congress needs to be able to do their job, and the executive branch needs to do their job. So this separation of powers issue is ongoing. It is one of the biggest issues we fought over with this Constitution from before it was even written. Scorched earth, yeah. Can we have auditors do it? It seems like that would be the way to do it, and I think there are some in place. So I'm not trying to say, in my opinion, I think that our federal government, could be tightened up. I think there's some problems. I think there definitely are some problems. But do I think that Elon Musk, that went in and took over different businesses, who has is dependent on billions of dollars being given to him by government contracts and conflict of interest? I don't think that's appropriate. And I think his actions here are unconstitutional, if nothing else, simply because of conflicts of interest. I mean, duh, right? You're not allowed to go into an agency that's going to give you money and tighten it up because you just want their money, right? So if I get rid of a whole bunch of people, then you'll be able to pay me this week. Like, what? That's not right. That's not right. I don't like that. Oh my gosh. They are. Why isn't anyone else willing or wanting to do? They are. It's just, there's protocol. You have protocol to do. And again, any of this stuff that he wants to do could have been fine to do had he done it through proper measures. Had he taken the proper protocol steps, that would have probably have been fine. Now, there are a few things he shouldn't have access to unless he's approved by the Senate, but I don't see how he wouldn't be confirmed by the Senate. But the problem is you didn't go through the proper modes, man. I mean, you're just like, I'm going to come in here and start running this bar, but you didn't really get any of the proper training. So that's the issue here. Why did he dismissal the one that he gets rich off of? Oh, that's a good point. Oh, burn. People complaining have the whoa, gone VC, that was quick. And that was an interesting point. People complaining are the ones that have something hot. That's not true. The truth here is we have rights, and the government is not allowed to infringe on those rights. And we're forced. Let's take a minute here. We are forced to give all of this information to our government, right? It's for the betterment of society. And so we give this private information to them. And it's like, fine, here you go. Here's my information. You asked for it. I really don't want to give it to you, but you asked for it anyway. And, it's for the best for everybody. And then now somebody goes in and has all of that information that, we didn't elect, wasn't appointed, wasn't approved by the Senate, has no check in place. It's just some kind of, buddy of the president. So, that's kind of questionable. We got questions here. And usually people are a bit more hesitant to be like handing the government over to one person. But I don't know what's going on here. I guess other people are like, well, whatever. So, and the person too, like, this isn't someone who's trying to make everything better. This is someone who's looking for a profit. That's his goal. Look for the profits. So with that, everyone, I did read through that temporary restraining order request here quite a bit. There's a lot of squirrels going on in my head right now. Judge Shutkin had a hearing today. We will see what she decides to come back with. My guess is she will say this needs to be very, very finely tailored, very narrowly tailored to what it is that we need to have done here. And it will, again, only be a temporary thing until things get sorted out. and they may come in, put this in front of the judge and, sit down and negotiate. All right, I think these things are okay. These things are not okay. And then come together. This should have been they should have been sitting down and talking about this before they did it. But they didn't want to do that. They just wanted to come in and bulldoze. So rather than, like adults and sit down and say, well, we'd like to do this, this, and that, now they're just like getting sued left, right, and center. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. Some questions to answer about Ida. That's right, Achilles. And now, my significant other's like, what happened? Oh my gosh. So, oh yes, the mods. Now, before we close it down for tonight, everyone, I did want to kind of update you a little bit on the lawsuits here. All right, so we have a million lawsuits, not that many. We have a lot of lawsuits under these executive orders. And justsecurity.org, again, they're doing amazing work over there, keeping everyone up to date. But when we're looking through these, and I'm sure everyone has seen or heard like, oh, all of these lawsuits, and we've got injunctions coming into play. We've got all of these different subcategories too. We've got one, the executive order on the birthright citizenship. That one probably has the single most. 71, oh my gosh, that's so many. I mean, come on, we're not even at the 100 days yet. Oh my gosh, so much work. I had to start putting sticky notes on my closet, everybody. I needed a bigger surface. I didn't have a large enough surface. Oh my gosh. So then we've got immigration. We've got a ton of immigration cases. So expedited removal, discontinuation of CBP. Let's see. Access to lawyers when you're in detention. Prohibiting non-citizens from invoking asylum provisions. I'm just giving you the category of our lawsuits. Migrant transfers to Guantanamo. There's a lot of questions about that. Although, honestly, Guantanamo, I mean, all right, I got to put my thoughts together on that. All right, suspension of the U.S. refugee admissions program. We have reinstatement of Schedule F for policy career employees. These are the categories. Next, establishment of the Department of Government Efficiency. So that's two cases here for what we were just talking about. So we've got Public Citizen Incorporated, and we also have this set of people here, National Security Counselors, and looks like 4 suits there. American Public Health is also suing the DOJ. Center for Biological Diversity is also. All right, next category is solicitation of information from career employees. This, I think, is the FBI situation where they're trying to get information. Disclosure of personal and financial records to DOJ. And we've got Alliance for Retired Americans suing. New York is suing. AFL-CIO, Department of Labor, University of California is suing on that. National Treasury Employees Union is suing. American Federation of Teachers. Yeah, you got the unions mad. Like, oh my goodness. Office of Personnel Management is part of the Electronic Privacy Information Center that's suing. We have American Federation of Government Employees. So AFL-CIO again. Suing for all of the firings over and over and over again. Nemeth Greenleaf here. Let's see. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking in here and I see a comment and then I'm like, oh, it's gone now. Oh my gosh, moderators, working hard tonight, working hard. Gribben here. Again, this is huge. So those firings have lawsuit after lawsuit. Let's just take a look. So this subcategory here is disclosure of personnel and financial records. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lawsuits just in that category. Yikes. Next, removal of independent agency leaders. That's huge as well. Mm. Wilcox versus Trump is one. She was removed from the National Labor Relations Board. I tell you what, everyone, if you are gonna fire some people, if you're gonna fire someone who's like the top person at the National Labor Relations Board, you best make sure you crossed your T's and you dotted your I's. You know what I'm saying? Like, go for the easy ones. This is not an easy one, and she's already asked for an expedited summary judgment on the issue here. So she's not even playing. We've got another one, Miss Harris. Her removal from the Merit Systems Protection Board. Sorry, everybody. Tea break for me for a moment. We've got the dismantling of the U.S. aid also. And American Foreign Service Association is suing on that one. And the AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition also suing. And Global Health Council suing. Those are huge lawsuits. Again, oh, you got some tango. We love that. Yeah, I'm still in a Tang place. I don't know why, everyone. For some reason, it's my comfort drink. I'm like, wow, the world's on fire. Let's have some Tang. Oh my gosh. All right. Next, dismantling the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Now we've got some lawsuits here. National Treasury Employees Union. Again, those unions are really, working hard here. And so that's one. Then we have the mayor and city council of Baltimore. I guess they're mad. We love that. Also, they're trying to pull in the defunding issues as well. Next, we have, termination of special counsel of the Office of Special Counsel. So, oh my gosh, they have pulled the Office of Special Counsel is being terminated. Here's the lawsuit on that one. Yikes! Now we've got the U.S. Supreme Court being asked at this moment. Oh my gosh, I don't know. The government is okay. We got to keep everything straight in your mind. All right. The people petitioning are the ones saying you should not have gotten rid of the Office for Special Counsel. We've got here administrative stay was set into place through February 13th. Then February 11th, defendants appealed to the DC Circuit, and that was denied. February 12th, dismissed the appeal for lack of jurisdiction in here. February 12th, granted a temporary restraining order ordering to continue to serve as special counsel. So the judge said, we need to let them continue. February 13th, defendant filed another appeal in the DC Circuit. Their motion for a stay pending appeal was denied because the stay was they want to go forward and shut it all down. February 15th, DC Circuit rejected the defendant's appeal in a 2-1 decision. A defendant, again, is Trump's administration. And the last one, the government petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court asking the justices to freeze and vacate the district court's order that had temporarily reinstated Dellinger. So they're asking the U.S. Supreme Court to undo the appellate court, the lower court's decision to keep the special counsel in place until this situation can be done. So there's that. Why are we talking about it now? Because it's a lawsuit. Yeah. Executive action, termination of inspectors general. So this is another one that's a pretty big moment. This was the first one where, we really saw like, dude, you got to give some notice here first. Next, so we've got Storch. Okay. Wow, the trolls, everybody. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. I just look over and I just see like what's happened. Oh my gosh. Cut X funding. Oh my gosh. Yes. So here's the first one. White House sent 2-sentence emails to terminate them. So they are suing, and we like to see that. We like to see that. I don't think anyone should be fired with 2 sentences in an email. I don't know that that's appropriate. Like, you can break up with somebody that way, but don't be firing inspector generals that way. It's just like picking dandelions. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, it's cracking me up, everybody. All right, the second lawsuit, American Oversight. Again, those are over the terminations of those inspector generals. They're in their fields. Oh my goodness. Moving on, large scale reductions in force. So that's been filed with the National Treasury Employees Union again. Next, we've got government grants, loans, and assistance. The first one is National Council of Nonprofits that has filed a suit against their cutting of the money. New York has also filed suit in that area. Shapiro has filed suit as well. So the governor of Pennsylvania has filed on that. Next, government grants, loans, and assistance. We have first category here. Reduction of indirect cost reimbursement rate for research institutions. So this is the NIH guidelines. We've had some problems with that. So we've got Massachusetts is suing, Association of American Universities is suing, American Association of Medical Colleges is also suing here. Next category, civil liberties and rights. Oh, housing of transgender inmates. Oh my goodness gracious. You know, it's gonna be bad. There's a lot of cuts here. First, we have Maria Moe, who is suing, who was personally, of course, harmed in this situation. Doe v. McHenry. And I think it's actually quite wise to not put your actual name in, to just be a Moe or a Doe, because where we're at right now in our society. We've got those two. And then here's the third one, which is Jones v. Trump. So that could be Smith, it could be Jones, right? We've got another transgender woman who has had some problems. Next, a ban on transgender individuals serving in the military. Like, that's just, oh my goodness gracious. We have Talbot here and others that are suing on that issue. And Schilling as well. So two lawsuits in there. Troll Trucker. That's original. I think he's is he a trucker? All right, next, executive action, ban on gender affirming care for individuals under the age of 19. Yikes. Anytime this is involved, like, oh man, I always cringe, because anytime you want to step in and decide something against doctors, it just drives me crazy. Like, they're doctors, man. Trust the doctors. There's science out there. Yikes. So this drives me bonkers. Okay, so P Flag Incorporated here is suing. Here, they are the only ones, but it looks like a huge one. Oh yeah, all of these are being, yeah, all of this is huge amounts of money being used here. Passport policy targeting transgender people. We've got, this I think will be a very interesting lawsuit as well. So I'll probably be pulling this one. And this is Orr v. Trump here in Massachusetts. There's the case number if you're interested. Next, ban on transgender athletes in women's sports, not the men's sports, just the women's sports. And this is the T-Rel case. See what happens there. Immigration enforcement against places of worship and schools. Now we have this really cool Quaker case that I've been looking through and dabbling in, and I will have that in a post coming up. Philadelphia yearly meeting of the Religious Society of Friends here. Man, I tell you, what does it take for the Quakers to get mad? Like, come on. I mean, and I mean that with the utmost respect for, peace and understanding that. So it's gender for, well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, Yeah. Next, we've got the Mennonite Church here. It has also filed a complaint, Denver Public Schools. So we've got churches and schools filing against the government here. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We have one lawsuit, National Association of Diversity Officers in Higher Education. That's come in here because they're banning DEIA initiatives in the executive branch and by contractors. Now, again, as a side note, let's remember that when it comes to diversity and inclusion, we're not talking about a situation way back in the old days where people were saying that quotas needed to be filled. No, that's unconstitutional and illegal. So we're not talking about quotas here. We're talking about, hey, why don't you think about diversity when you're doing this too? Next, removal of information from government websites. Woo, this is a big one. Executive action, removal of information from the HHS websites under Executive Order Gender Ideology Extremism, Executive Order 14168 Policy Memo. And this is the people suing are Doctors for America. Ugh, goodness gracious. Here. All right, next up. So we've only got one lawsuit there. Next up, actions against the FBI and DOJ employees. Executive action, Department of Justice review of FBI personnel involved in the Jan 6 investigations. So I kind of have already read through these before. And then Federal Bureau of Investigation. Down here, agents associations. We've got like another union situation. And then the John Does. And I did read through this particular case. So that's the FBI stuff. So again, I'm just giving a shout out here to the litigation that's been filed on these executive orders. And, this is what happens when there are constitutional violations. You take it to court. The courts are the ones that deal with the constitutional violations. So, people getting kickbacks, what are you talking about? I mean, we've got the Quakers that are saying, why do you guys keep coming into our meetings? Or it had Action Force. Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to share before I head out, everyone, was this way of trying to help you organize how these cases go, because there are so many. We've got 71 cases, I think Navy Vet said. There's so many, and we're just getting started. One of the quickest ways, I've got a chart here to do that, is to see where the case is at. And so the categories to look at are, first, you want to see if a complaint's been filed. And then, yes, it has been. And so that would be the name of your case here. But then you want to look and see, well, has the government filed a response? And the next would be here. And that's where you put those cases that actually have a response. So you're organizing the cases according to the most important things involved in the case. So has it been filed? Is there a response? Has there been a court order? When's the hearing? What are we waiting on? Are we waiting for plaintiffs to file something next, defendants to file, or are we waiting on a court order? So this is kind of like a cheat sheet on how to organize so many cases at once. So all of the cases have filed, correct, but we would only move the ones over here that actually have responded. We've got several where we're waiting on responses. There was a summons just 2 days ago, I think. What case was it? Hold on, everybody. Let me get you the deets. Summons in a civil action, and it was filed, just a couple days ago for City and County of San Francisco, County of Santa Clara, City of Portland, Martin Luther King Jr. County, City of New Haven versus Trump and Bove and those people. And the summons basically says you need to respond within 21 or 60 days. So we don't even have a response on that particular case. They just were issued the summons. So that deadline starts to tick down. So they've only got a certain number of days. And then once those responses come in, the next thing that should happen should be a court order. Sometimes we'll have another when lawsuits just start, we have the petition, then we have the answer, and sometimes there can be like additional information. But what we're looking for next is the court order. We need to see what's going to happen. Are we getting things set? Are we putting things out right now? There's a court order for some cases setting conferences for May. April and May already have dates when they're setting out when conferences are going to be. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for court orders giving us dates, and then when those hearings are going to be. And then we go through that discovery process where the defendant is, or the petitioner is saying, we have asked for this information, we're not getting it, and back and forth and back and forth. So this is just, again, a way to break up these cases in an easy management way so you can really track them. I have this in a larger form on my closet door because I needed a bigger space where I've got all of the cases listed that have been filed, all of the ones that have responses, which means these don't have them, and so on. But this is just an easy way to kind of think about it in a legal way to assess how many cases and where the cases are going, because it can be overwhelming. All right, so with that, sad to see how many people believe Trump's lies. Yeah, I mean, it looks like an FBI target room. Well, it's the bedroom. So luckily I have like a little hallway where my closet is. So my husband just walks past it, so he doesn't have to see all of it. But yeah, I mean, I needed it. I'll probably do a post on my closet tour, but we'll have to see for everyone to access. Well, yeah, I have limited technology skills. I'm only limited by my technology skills, of which I have none. So there's that. Yeah, I'll get it together. I just like being able to move it down the road, because if cases are being dismissed, then they need to be removed. But we're just moving them down the road here. They're well, they get into these boards that I have here, because I lean them up against the wall, and then they just go into the little space and just like sit there. And so I'll go grab one, and then it's like, oh my gosh, there's a cat there. Oh my gosh, yes. So that's a lot. Cognitive dissonance, yes. So one of the things, everyone, where I absolutely turned a corner, and I don't expect anyone else to turn this corner with me, but one of the most important things for my own mental health at this point is to just acknowledge we have done everything we could possibly do. We've shared knowledge, we've shared education, we've shared time and energy, and kindness and understanding. We've shared it all, and they've taken it all, and now there's no more left. And so in my mind, I see it like when people are coming at you at this point, the only thing you can do is shake a can of pennies at them, because it's like I don't even want to hear what you have to say at this point. So talk louder than them, walk away from them, shake a can of pennies at them. Like, I don't even want to hear the words coming out your mouth right now because I got too much to do. So that's kind of where I'm at in my world. I'm just like, I gave everything I could. I didn't hold anything back. I left it all out there for you. And at this point, you are intentionally not wanting the reality that you are actually living in. And so because of that, I need to go. So that's where I'm at with my start making cat noises. Well, yeah, you just gotta walk away, right? You gotta walk away. You gotta just be like, blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, I'm done. Like, you just block it out. Block it out, everybody. Block it out. You've done all you can. You've done all you can. At this point, another thing too, something to think about is a lot of people are saying the courts work so slow, and they do, because there's so many steps that have to be followed. And oh, just now, I'm so glad, Kay. Well, come on in. But one of the things I think will be very helpful for people who didn't care or didn't think things would turn out is because our court system is so slow, then this will be the time for them to have some time to enjoy the benefits of what it was that they had voted for or refused to care about. So I think our court system plays a role in also showing, by just having to wait for the answer, by showing them what it is that they are going to get to have here. Oh, yeah. So with that, my friends, oh my gosh, moderators working so hard. You're working so hard tonight. So with that, I will go ahead and close up the live tonight so that the trolls can scamper to their next place. I don't, I'm not sure why there's so many trolls, but I appreciate all of you coming in and hanging out with me nevertheless. Sometimes I get a little bit distracted. I don't know if you've noticed that, but oh my gosh, I'm always so thankful for all of you for your questions and the time that you come and hang out with me. We've got some idea now of what's going on. Again, this Elon lawsuit's the big one. This is the big one. So we got to pay attention to that, and I will keep you posted. My primary focus at this point are going to be these lawsuits and where they're at and what the arguments are. So I will keep you all posted on that as we continue to go. I will be posting on TikTok as well as YouTube. They should be the same posts, and we'll continue to live stream over here on the YouTube as much as I can. I'll probably just hop over to the TikTok maybe once in a while. But other than that, this should be my permanent home. Thank you again, everybody, for coming and hanging out with me. The executive order summaries, you can pull those up on the federal registration. I'm sorry, everybody, I lost the name of the word. But if you're looking for the litigation track here, that's under just security. But other than that, you can go over to the feds. They've got them all up and have explained them too. So have a good night, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you all again very soon.